Good morning, folks, and welcome to Swing Trading Today. This is Bob Desmond over at the Contrarian Trader, and it is 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, February the 13th. What we're going to talk about this morning is obviously the pre-market futures action. We'll talk a little bit about the headlines. There's not much out there. A little bit of what we kind of expected in terms of an escalation in the news with regard to the coronavirus. And we have a bunch of members' stock chart request, and that's where we review the symbols that our gold members request for us to review. And those symbols will be for Bill and Chris: XLB, ENB, SHOP, APPS, VXRT, and GLOP. So let's get to it. Let's begin with the pre-market futures action. And we are down on the E-minis. This is a 4-hour chart. These will all be 4-hour charts until we get to member stock chart requests, where we go with the multi-period time frames. So we are down about 3/4 of a percentage point on the E-minis. Yesterday we were adding to our short positions. So hopefully this pullback holds into the close, and we'll look to scalp. Again, fingers crossed, a profit on our short. Now, this is not a broken market yet, but a pullback was expected. This is such a corrupt market right now that you have no idea as to whether or not the Federal Reserve is going to step back in here and help buoy the market. Because I didn't really go over the headlines at all, but let's take a look at what's out there this morning. You have the sudden militarization of Huan's P4 lab raises new questions about the origin of the deadly COVID-19 virus. Expectations are growing that this was, good morning all, and thank you for the likes, appreciate it. This was a military grade biochemical bioagent that was released. I don't think anybody would be shocked if that was the outcome. And this is the reason why I don't buy Chinese stocks. Looking at this is far more consequential for the market. This is reported as of last night. China reports huge jump in new coronavirus infections and deaths. Oil stocks tumble. And here's a chart. I mean, if this is accurate, it's really amazing. Number of new cases in China has just skyrocketed, which leads me to believe that this wasn't. These numbers prior weren't accurate. This is a revised actual number. So quite scary stuff out there. And I want to talk about, before we go back to the pre-market activity, I want to talk about the yield curve before I forget this. And this is the 2s versus 10s. And the yield curve, despite the fact that we have the stock market, which is surging. Good morning, Trent. Yeah, Microsoft gave way a little bit yesterday. We'll take a look at that chart. We've been shorting the trip queues. Good morning, Pat. We've been shorting the trip queues. We did a little bit more shorting yesterday. And the yield curve is threatening yet again to break to a new monthly low. All this despite the activity of the Federal Reserve. And for those folks that are out there saying, you know what, we've already seen this before, the breakdown of the yield curve, this is old news. It's not old news. The yield curve is indicative of a recession in the future. And it could take a year to 18 months. But it's normally a very reliable predictor. So we went inverted last August. We have steepened it. Now we are reinverting yet again. And this is part of a process. We've seen this before. We've been here before. Moving on. Let's go back to the futures action. All right, so E-minis we went over. For those who just joined in, we're down this morning about 3/4 of a percentage point. And we are, have we broken down here? We're threatening to break it. We just broke down to a new morning low. Taking a look at the NASDAQ. We are down nearly a percentage point in the NASDAQ. No shock here. The shock is that they're allowing this managed market to drop for a little bit. Going to, what do we want to take a look at next? Let's go to these small caps. We'll wrap up with equities, and then we'll take a look at commodities and currencies. Where's my Russell? The Russell's down spot 82% and has been fairly weak relative to the large caps. Let's get rid of this. You can see that we've been putting in lower highs, but it's way too early yet to conclude that this rally is over, folks. So if we open up down today, I would not go shorting with reckless abandon. This is no doubt the most managed market that I have ever seen. So watch for a break here on the small caps. All right, so equity is weak. Let's take a look at the dollar. Now, I went over this with members last night. The dollar is just insanely strong. It broke out to multi-year highs yesterday. And the question is, why? And the reason is we're the least dirty shirt in the bunch. And I'm not going to be the least bit surprised after this breakout to see new higher highs on the US dollar. Now, it remains a bit overbought on an intraday basis, even on a daily basis. Let's clear this up. Where are we? Okay, better. Let's start fresh. And you can see that despite the fact we flirted with a breakdown before, we've rallied back. This is just a currency that refuses to go down. But there is a very strange event occurring in the precious metal markets. and it continues this morning. And that is the strength of gold. All right, so tight trading range here for the dollar this morning. Let's go to gold. Yeah, it's picking up steam here this morning. We are up over a half percentage point. It's been amazing that despite the fact that we've seen a rally in the U.S. dollar, and I'm understating the dollar right now. Let's rephrase it. Despite the fact that we have seen a major multi-year breakout in the U.S. dollar, gold has maintained. Let's clear this up. Gold has maintained its gains. Yes, it's been a bias to the downside these past few days, but if you take a look at the correlation historically of gold versus the U.S. dollar, they trade inversely. The fact that gold has not rolled over and given up a lot of its gains yet on the heels of the U.S. dollar is very, very impressive. It's got to be acknowledged. So we have a breakout this morning on a 4-hour basis. Remember, the Feds hate gold. They do not want to see gold rallying because gold is really the only currency any longer. They want you to buy fiat currencies. They don't want you to buy gold, but gold is rallying. So very good price action here. Higher lows on RSI. Amazing. All this despite a breakout on the US dollar and the strength in equities, no less. Think about all the money that's been getting pumped into the stock market, yet gold has not broken down. Very impressive. Let's check out the silver market. Silver has not been behaving well. It's lagging gold. All right, we're up this morning. And it too, to be fair here, we're owners of gold, silver. Let's remove this. Silver remains in a consolidation, an ever tightening consolidation. And here you have it, folks. You have a major, I'll call it a cup with handle. It's rather loose. A cup with handle formation here. And it appears as though we may be setting up for a breakout, at least on a 4-hour basis. Check it out on a daily basis out of curiosity. Yeah. Yeah, we're setting up here nicely. Let's check out how our RSI is doing. Many times you'll see RSI lead a breakout on price. And that's nothing really to, what do we want to do here? Let's test something. It's nothing to trade off of if you observe it. Yeah, we're hooking up here. We are, excuse me, folks. Yeah, we're breaking out above, we're making breakouts above resistance levels. This is a really nice chart. So silver looking good. Now platinum, let's go back to that for a moment. Back to it, let's bring it up. 4-hour basis, platinum. I discussed this the other day that I started looking at platinum due to the fact that palladium was really, really strong. And I decided to pull up platinum. And here we are. We broke out on platinum. I guess it was back here. We've been consolidating. And it appears as though we're going to get a continuation move higher on platinum. Here we broke out. We're doing retests. This now becomes support. I wouldn't be a buyer yet, but it's certainly setting up nicely. So we'll keep an eye on it. This is a weekly view. Yeah, this is pretty. There's something happening here in the platinum markets. We have a breakout on a weekly basis, platinum. All right, I have a bunch of chart requests to get to, so I need to get through these quickly here. What else do we have? Checking out yields this morning, or bond prices, I should say. And we are up on bonds. It means we're seeing a pullback on yields. Good stuff. We're off the highs of the session, but good overnight price action here in the bond market. And we have a higher low. We remain in the trading range, and that bodes well for our precious metal trade. Checking out oil. Oil's under some pressure this morning. Let's bring up nat gas. Surprisingly, nat gas is holding a bid here. They tried to take it down overnight, but they reversed it. I'm still very skeptical of nat gas's ability to hold here, but the market seems to be giving nat gas a pass here. I would not be a buyer. I've been saying they would rally it up to fill the gap. And we do have a small position in the UGAZ. I'm looking to close out that position despite the fact that they are giving nat gas a pass today, because I just don't like this setup, this gap down. I think that we may continue up higher here, perhaps to this upper band of resistance, and then we should see a rollover. I could be absolutely wrong there. but that's what the chart is implying at current. What else do we want to take a look at? Bitcoin taking it on the chin this morning, but holding support. It was overbought. Okay, let's bring up our chart requests. Let's go to XLB. The materials sector. Monthly chart. An outside reversal month last month. This month, we did not put in a new low. We're holding this 20 period moving average, which is flattened out. What do I want to do here? Nice move here. Holding support, rising RSI. Stokes look healthy. Weekly view. So this is where it gets a little bit concerning, is that we have a lot of resistance above here on a weekly basis. Let's get rid of this. It's a little bit noisy. And you can see we have a little bit of topping action this week as we near these resistance levels. You saw the same thing the prior week. And we're very close to resistance at 62.19 per share. And we closed 60.72 yesterday. So a little bit too much risk, not enough reward. Hi, Jerry. I have a conflict of interest with the ride shares, so I can't really go into those. And I have a bunch of symbols I have to go over this morning. Let me see if we have a little bit of time to go over the other ones. All right, daily chart. We had a triangle formation, which we broke out of. We were looking good. We had broken out, pulled back, did a retest. We're rallying, and we're seeing resistance above. No shock, because what do we have? We have overhead supply on a weekly basis. Let's overlay weekly and illustrate right up here. But I don't think that's causing it. I think that we have minor support levels. Let's yeah, right here. You have overhead supply. Ugh. You have overhead supply. Right here. Yep, there you go. There's the culprit. So this overhead supply back here is acting as resistance right now. Me personally, I wouldn't be involved with the trade until we broke out above weekly support. If you're looking to scalp a couple of bucks, you know, if you get a close above 60.72, then you might want to enter the trade. But ideally, I'd be waiting for the weekly breakout above this level here. And that sets the stage for a rally up to 67.50. This red line here will be the rising upper band of resistance. So that's how I would play it. Moving on to ENB. Let's get rid of these. Let's go monthly first. Very, very pretty. Here's your breakout, your retest, confirmation breakout. This is exactly what you want to see on a stock that was under pressure. It consolidated, off to the races. RSI validated, Stokes validated with the higher lows and higher highs. So the trend is clear and defined. The next resistance level for Enbridge, we have a little bit of room. My mouse moved. 45.88 appears to be resistance for Enbridge. Let's drill down here, weekly view. Very pretty. RSI 77.44. Still room to the upside. And I believe Enbridge is energy, if memory serves me. Yeah, pipelines, yep. All right, so the race for yield appears to be on. This is yielding what, 5%, 5.15%. So this has every reason to do fairly well as money managers begin to chase yield. Let's go to a daily chart. On a daily basis, we have a lot of room to the upside to go here. RSI getting a little bit frothy. 81.99. Let's overlay our weeklies. Take the daily off. We have a lot of upside potential here. I like the chart. I would remain long. But just keep in mind we're getting a little bit frothy here. I'm not sure if this is optionable, whether or not you can sell calls on it. Yes, there are options. How liquid they are, big question. But it looks good. I would remain long. Shopify. Wow. All right, so we had we have a price target adjustment. A lot of news out today. Price target raised. So we have Q4 results strong. Okay, so it doesn't matter what they are. The market told us they're good. And we're pulling back off the highs here You know, these earnings plays are. You need to see how the morning plays out. Do they sell it off? Do they allow it to consolidate gains, and then you have a setup? I would just keep it very, very simple. If we consolidate and we break out to new or break out above this upper band of resistance, I would look to buy the shares. Let's go back to the trend spider chart. This needs to get resolved. We're trading at current above the third standard deviation Bollinger Band on a daily basis. This needs to get resolved. It's got to come in. Probably filling this gap. That's at the 500 mark. RSI looks outstanding. Stokes are extremely long in the tooth here. So I couldn't buy these shares. Despite the 4-hour chart, this needs to get resolved. I would not chase these shares whatsoever. Weekly view, we rallied right up and into that third standard deviation Bollinger Band, sold off on a weekly basis. Monthly view, very close to the same deal here. Last time we did that was back here in August, multi-month pullback, then a continuation move higher. So I would not go buying these shares at current. They've had a beautiful run. Our earnings priced in. It appears that way. So I like the company. I love what they do. Can't go chasing the shares. Daily chart is just a daily chart. Weekly chart is a little bit too frothy for my taste. So again, I would look for a pullback and the filling of a gap here at a bare minimum, looking at $500 per share on a pullback. VXRT going high level first. All right, we're in a downtrend. The one caveat here that makes the monthly chart interesting is that we're seeing a breakout in RSI and a significant breakout, and Stokes are hooking up, but no breakout on price. You've seen some strength of late, but no breakout. Weekly view. Weekly indicators looking really pretty. I'm not going to have Amazon down 15, Pat. Weekly chart, very overbought. Bearish reversal bar this week. So the weekly chart, where I've been treated very, very well, but you're seeing a lot of topping action here. I would not initiate a new position, and I would be looking to probably book some profits, especially if we take out the lows of last week. Daily view. Let's get rid of these. Take off the log. There we go. That's better. All right. So you're not going to listen to me. You're going to do whatever you want to do. Fine. Let's talk about an entry point. have it. You need to see a breakout above this upper band of resistance. If we fail to hold support at spot 9.5, I would look to avoid. But tight consolidation, we may break out here. I wouldn't enter the trade. Again, too much topping action on a weekly basis. Resistance levels look okay, but relative to the weekly Bollinger Bands and the price action, I'm a little bit concerned about the shares. That doesn't mean they can't move up higher, but a little bit too rich for my blood. All right, GLOP. This is one of our extreme trades. Let's go to we spoke about this over the weekend. And we did bounce. I believe over the weekend we had RSI at around 5. We had a 5 handle on it. RSI remains under pressure at 10 spot 84. Here it's trading up. I overlaid here in blue UNG, which is the ETF for natural gas, and they trade in lockstep. So natural gas caught a bid. I'm suspect of natural gas this morning. While it's holding a bid, and may move up to this resistance level. I question whether or not it's going to be able to do that. So it's evident that you need nat gas to press up higher to have a consistent rally or a sustained rally on GLOP. And while nat gas is holding gains right now, it'll probably move up higher. So will GLOP. Excuse me, folks. Excuse me. I don't think that this is a rally that is sustainable. I would need to see a pullback and a double bottom setup. Let's go to a weekly chart, because we always want to know where our support levels are. And we have none, with the exception of last week's bottoming action when we rallied off the lows. We have an inside week so far this week. At current, this is what appears to be like a hanging man formation. It is a reversal off the lows. Volume's been good. I need to see a close near the highs of the week and a W formation form up. And that's not going to happen this week. This is a 4-hour chart. It appears as though we'll probably press up higher here. If you're long, look for resistance at $5.50. After that, at $6.28. We remain very oversold on RSI. So you can still get another pop out of this. But remember, these extreme oversold trades are not investments. They are they are short-term scalps. Is that Chris? CDUNC. Is that Chris? Hey, Sam. SPCE. Virgin Galactic. This is a sector I want to study more. I was reading an article the other day about the housing prices around Cape Canaveral in Florida, and they're ripping up higher. And it's due to all the money that's flowing into the space sector. Not much historical data here. So we're going to have to rely upon the daily chart here a bit. I mean, the weekly chart looks pretty good. Hey, Chris, good morning to you. Thanks for that article the other day. It was pretty good. All right, so we're really relying here on the daily chart. It's a pretty chart. You'll probably see it come in here a little bit. If you're looking to initiate a new position, I would do so at this rising lower band of support. I'm going to track this one because, again, I'm interested in the space. Pardon the pun. So we'll keep an eye on it. It's a bit extended here. We backed off the third standard deviation Bollinger Band yesterday. No shock. But the uptrend looks fairly orderly. A bit of selling at the close yesterday. With the markets weak today, if you're looking to initiate a new position, I wouldn't do so right now. I think you get better pricing, especially with the markets under a bit of pressure here. But if it's an investment, who cares? I think that these names they probably have a very, very bright future. So just to wrap it up, a bit extended here. I would allow for a pullback, but longer term, it looks as though it's probably going higher. BKTX. All right, so the monthly chart tells a story here in that we're looking for a breakout above this resistance level. You can see Trend Spider picked it up as well in its own way. No, Sam, I haven't looked at it. I'll pull it up. We're running a little bit tight on time here, so I'm gonna have to breeze through these. Ever tightening weekly chart. It looks good. You know, if you wanted to pick up some shares with a stop right below the support level at 632, or the lows of the week of the 27th, which was at low 6.10, and then add on a breakout above this upper band of resistance. $30, really. Nice move. All right, this is pretty. Using the raindrop charts, you saw good price action at the close yesterday. Here's your breakout on a daily basis. I think that these shares, absent a market event, are probably going to press up higher. Nice W formation, stair-stepping higher on RSI. Stokes are validating. There's nothing not to like here. It's a pretty chart. All right, any... Wow. Yeah, we were talking about it back here. Huge move. And it looks as though it's going to continue higher here, Sam. Actually, well, let me pull back on that a little bit. You saw some reversal bars yesterday. It may come in a little bit. The overall trend is nice, but we're going to pause here a little bit, maybe. Let's use, yeah. You're probably going to get a pullback here to, let's throw a number up. Around 268, 269. And it's not that far away. It's pretty close. We'll see if this holds. But RSI is ominous. Lower highs here. Stokes may be rolling over. Give it some room. All right, let's... Pat, I'm going to bring up Amazon in the pre-market. For those that are not familiar, we are short of Amazon. Let's go to Cherry's General Motors. And we're going to leave off with Amazon because I have to shut this down. GM monthly view. You know, I expected to see a horrible chart, and relative to the rest of the market, it is a horrible chart. However, it looks pretty good in that we are holding the lower band of support. Let's get rid of this. We don't need this either. So what we're seeing is potentially a W formation forming here. And I'd be looking for a breakout above 39.72. RSI remains in a downtrend. Very tight consolidation here on a weekly basis. Very close to a breakout here on RSI. Stokes moving up higher. I'm going to change their trend lines and replace them with one of mine. Here's what I would want to see. Is a breakout above this upper band of resistance here on a weekly basis at around 35.85 per share with confirmation on RSI. And don't forget, you're probably going to get a pullback and a retest. So you could, if you're patient, you'll probably get an even lower price on a retest because this line is declining. Daily chart showing strength here. We broke out yesterday above resistance. Next level, again, same area around $36 per share, $36.14 on a daily chart. RSI going in the right direction, higher lows, higher lows on Stokes, and higher highs, exactly what you want to see. All right, to marry out really quick. Looking very good here. It's threatening a breakout. Would I be a buyer? Probably not right now because we're right at monthly resistance. We broke out an RSI. Now you can see we're pulling back, doing a retest. Now we're looking for a confirmation move higher. So watch for, let's get rid of this. Watch for a breakout above these resistance levels. Very pretty chart. Weekly basis. We pulled back, higher low. We're threatening to move up higher now. Daily chart. Breakout yesterday above resistance. Higher lows in RSI. Stokes, the same deal. I like the chart. Leisure and hospitality looking good here. Good strength into the close. All right, let's go to the pre-markets. We'll take a look at Amazon because we are short. We'll probably be looking to cover that short this morning. So Amazon looking weak this morning. So ideally, we keep this weakness up into the close, and we're going to scalp some profits on the short side. We'll put an advanced order out there. So Amazon looking good. I just want to check out gold before we shut down. And I will say good morning or thanks for joining. Ah, boy, here we go. We're pulling back now. All right, what happened here? Dollar strength. Yeah, dollar's bouncing back here a little bit. Let's check out equities. Yeah, equities are catching a bid. Coming off the lows. Dollar's catching a bid. And that is what's keeping gold prices subdued. Given the traditional historic inverse correlation between the dollar and gold, if you just think about if the dollar were weak right now, how much higher gold would be. So the dollar is keeping a lid on the price of gold. It's not hurting it, but it's just keeping it in check. All right, with that, folks, everybody have a very, very profitable trading day. Thanks for joining in. If you can hit that like button, I'd appreciate it. And I will talk to you soon. Be well.